hit the button. I hit the button. Okay.
He isn't going to be hitting the button. You missed
I'm
the
good at
fucking
hitting the
button.
button. I know I hit the button.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Sure.
Fabio, I think Fabio's better at hitting the button.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Game Set Live, where the games matter, not the platforms you enjoy them on. And yes, I'm driving that home because I'm sick of the toxic fanboy plastic war bullshit.
And we're not live.
Oh, stop it.
We are no worries.
But anyway, this has been a slow week. But we managed to scrape some things together, some goings-ons, and this week I think we're merging podcasts because we've got Infinite Umbra and JediKnightPeter here from the Xbox Infinite podcast. Check them out tomorrow night. They're awesome. But I couldn't have had the entire cast on because they've got, those people have things to do too. But we're gonna get going now, and we're gonna start with Fabio, the Brazilian milk gangster, sir.
Oh no, fuck off.
Damn.
Hey, that's an interesting title.
No,
The-
fuck off.
The
What
angry.
What the hell?
Most Brazilians.
Somebody
going out
feed
there.
that man. He's
Milk
angry.
gangster.
What the hell is that title?
Okay.
Come
on.
The chemistry, the Brazilian chemist. How about that?
Thanks.
How are you
That
doing,
sounds better.
sir? And what have you been playing?
Thank you very much. I'm good. Just a bit tired, but thank the Lord that everything is going all right. Tomorrow is my birthday. I'm getting old, and what I've been playing, I've been playing Halo Master Chief Collection. Of course, I also play a bit of Halo Infinite. I played a little bit of Fortnite, just a tiny little bit, as well as a bit of Madden 23.
Oh, Madden 23 on Game Pass or EA Playthrough Game Pass.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
that's not a reason for a noof to get Game Pass because they don't. I don't know.
Much better than paying full price for Madden because god damn it, that game.
Yeah, and it comes out every year and they make so minuscule
I
changes.
don't pay full price for almost any EA game.
Mr. Our first guest, JediKnightPeter, sir. How are things over there in Australia, and what have you been playing?
Hot, brother. It's like 105 degrees today, and it's hot, right? I have been playing Hogwarts. I think that game is a masterpiece. It's brought the community together. I think just like Elden Ring did last year. I'm loving it. I'm about 15 hours in now, and I just want to be playing it right now. And I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite with Brisket when he gets a little bit of time off work. Thanks for having me again, Bobby. Love Game Set Live. Really happy to be here. We do have the best of Xbox Infinite today. Happy early birthday, Fabio. Let's do this.
Thank you so much, Jedi Knight.
He said he's got the best of the podcast here, and Risket's not in the chat to defend it, so I'm just going to take his word as law. All right. Mr. Noof Nukem, sir, how are things in Canada, and what have you been playing?
Boom, boom, kaboom. Yes, things up in Canada are, well, a little bit better than other places in the world, I guess you can say. Status quo. As far as anything else, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy, like most people seem to be playing these days. Other than that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but that's primarily the game. So, yeah, things are good. I'm glad to be here. Let's get this show going.
Yes.
Boom, boom, kaboom.
I scrolled down my friends list, and half of them are playing it. It's an everyday occurrence.
I'm playing it on PlayStation, so if you don't have me added over there, you won't see me on the,
I don't think I have you added over there. I'll have to. That way when I have it on, I can see you. Power Man 4K, sir. How is life? What have you been playing?
I'm doing all right, man. I am playing, I'm playing Hogwarts like everybody else on the world, apparently. A lot of interesting statistics about Hogwarts that we could probably talk about. Some crazy things that game is doing. But I know I'm also playing Gotham Knights on PC, And I also find it very interesting about a couple of things I wanted to talk about as far as like console versus PC. But so I'm playing a little bit of that. I'm a big Batman fan, so I'm glad I pulled the trigger. I did get it for cheap, um, off of some websites online that you can get games for cheap on. And then it's pretty good. I actually enjoy it. It does the whole Court of Owls storyline, which I've always really loved the comic series. So pretty interesting so far, but that's what I've been mainly playing, man.
Yeah, me too. Love it, love it, love it. It's and we'll get into it because we're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy a lot. I have noticed some flaws in the game, and I'm going to bring them up and shine some light on them and get everybody's feedback. Ultimates Gaming, sir, how have you been, and what have you been playing?
I've been pretty good. Been playing right now a lot of Cyberpunk 2077. I hadn't finished it before. Kind of got sick of it, a lot of fatigue, a lot of hours you got to put in that game. Just bounce back. Loving it so far. Hopefully can finish it by tomorrow. Just enjoying that right now. Trying to get through my backlog. Trying to burn through it.
All right, Mr. Infinite Umbra, a.k.a. Mr. Bushido, talking with a something in front of the mic that makes him sound a little different. But don't let him fool you. It's the same person. This version's better, though.
Mr. Bushido wishes that his voice was half as smooth as this, but hey, listen, I get it. It's hard for some of us to hear divine, voices sometimes. I get it. You know what I mean? Pete gets it. He hears me weekly, so he's like, yeah, he gets us.
I wouldn't go so far.
Yeah,
divine.
Well, he's told me that in private. He might not want to say it here, but privately, he's like, "Oh, your voice is so divine, mate." I was like, "I get it, Pete."
I guess.
But little news on Mr.
We're gonna
Bushido.
sing happy birthday to Fabio.
Speaking of Fabio, your birthday is coming up. That makes you an Aquarius, like myself, doesn't it?
Yes, I am Aquarius.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
See, before you about to slander me, now you're an Aquarius like me. Do you still want to slander me now? See?
I got that song in my head now. My brain is going Aquarius.
It's the age of Aquarius.
But
Any excuse to sing.
Umbra,
Happy to
what
be
have you
here,
been
though.
playing,
Happy to
man?
be
How
here.
you doing?
Much like Pete, I have been enjoying what I feel is a masterpiece in Hogwarts Legacy. I'm trying to get my dark arts up, so I'm trying to get to the Avada Kedavra because I'm going to be murdering everybody left and right. I am Slytherin, by the way, so it's part and parcel for me. Oh yes.
Wait a second.
Slither gang, baby.
Wait a second.
Game.
You're not Slytherin. For you to be using Avada Kedavra, you're not Slytherin. You're just an asshole.
Damn.
Well, I'm both, I suppose. But yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
two things can be true. But yeah. So no, I'm enjoying that, man. I've enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush, and I played a bit of Dead Space. Hogwarts Legacy has pulled me away from all of that, honestly. So
Yeah.
It's not addicting.
Same here.
yeah, it's very addicting. It's very
Awesome.
addictive, and it's just so well made. I have to give them their credit. Like Pete, I know he's feeling it too, but like when you travel around, it's just so well mapped out on how you have so many activities here and there that actually are interesting. I know people can say, well, it's the same thing as like the Ubisoft games or whatever. They can probably say that, but I think it just plays better in this world than it does in a lot of Ubisoft games. Personally, it's just well realized, and even the combat is really solid. And you probably wouldn't think it would be because you're using wands and all of that shit, but no, it's actually really solid. Even the feedback from it when you're hitting the enemies with the magic spells and such.
Yep. Give a shout out to the supporters and the close friends that couldn't be here tonight. Word on Mr. Bush. Mr. Bushido is having a procedure done in the hospital tonight. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to you, sir. Get better. Come back to us. Tell them that if they cause you to miss another show, they're going to owe Bob a check, okay? Because it's extra effort to fill your spots. There's big shoes. Shout out to Thember in the chat, the only non-member moderator for the show. The other non-member moderator is Risker for the Biscuit, and he has been working the last 2 Thursdays during the show, so he has not been able to make the chat. Shout out to Gray Monad And new subscriber just 10 minutes ago, APXRP. Thank you for subscribing, sir. We've got Drawn TJ in the chat. Palpatine, Red Wolf. Everybody, thank you, and let's get started. If you haven't subbed, tell a buddy or two. Helps the little channel out. First thing we're going to talk about is the FTC has had a member leave, or announced that they are going to leave, because, and they said it has been because of the disregard of the rule of law and due process by Lena Khan. Who wants to take it? Noof Nukem, sir, what do you think about this exit and somewhat of a whistleblowing to the what's going on behind the scenes?
The circus continues. There you go.
Yes, this is true.
That's as much as I got to say. And I'm so fucking tired. I don't even understand all of it.
I agree.
You can move on to someone else who prefers it, because honestly, I can't even wrap my head around it at this point. It's like a bunch of Charlie's children fighting over fucking beans. I don't know what the hell to say anymore. It's just so sick of all of it. And but obviously, it just shows that there's something a hit and a miss at the FTC. I definitely think there's more egos coming into play here than it is, actual factual evidence against, whatever Microsoft is trying to do here. Like I said, they're pulling at straws, and she just seems like a complete douche hat.
Yes, a hat full of douche.
I mean, I would have to give the same agreement. I've been expressing my fatigue lately about how I'm just tired of talking about the Activision Blizzard deal and the FTC. I did like to hear that, at least, that some were admitting that Ms. Khan's leadership hasn't been right, and hasn't been taking in the facts, and hasn't been really communicating to everybody. It's just more, who can do this first and all that. I mean, we heard that it was possible that the FTC rushed in because they wanted to beat the CMA to lawsuit. So there was a couple of things there.
Microsoft is Goliath, and she's trying to be David right now.
So it's just one of those things. I
agree.
There's just nothing else to say. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing else to say. I completely agree right now. We're kind of just in that, we all know it's going to go through. I mean, it's not even a contest. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of waiting. And the consistent arguing across all the platforms of social media and everything else that I'm seeing, I'm just so tired of it. At this point, I just tell us yes or no. Let's just get this over with. I'm just so.
How many extensions does Sony need for stuff? They're getting subpoenaed, and they keep trying to like all this shit's just dragging and dragging. You're
rushing and saying all these things, but then you don't want to give the information.
How many do they need until they find an argument that makes sense for them to block this
because
deal?
They're mad because they have made claims towards Microsoft, and Microsoft is subpoenaing the information that would disprove their thoughts and their claims, and they're basically holding off as long as they possibly can. I can't believe we've gotten 5 extensions now. This is the 5th extension that Sony has requested while being subpoenaed by Microsoft. The whole issue with this thing is Sony is just trying to be the wrench in the machine. That's all they want to do. I think that they know that without this huge movement that they're doing and talking to these different regulations and regulators, that without that, they would have it would have probably already been gone through, in my opinion. I don't think that as soon as this thing happened, everybody remembers when we were talking about Jim Ryan started taking flights places, right? There was no coincidence in that whatsoever. Jim Ryan, believe it or not, is a very well-connected man. He is very well connected with a lot of regulating bodies. And he went over there and had conversations with those people, and now they're making egregious claims against Microsoft. The number one being, right, the huge one, they're still to this day claiming that Microsoft is going to take Call of Duty away from the PlayStation ecosystem, even though they have made multiple outreach attempts to them to say, hey, listen, we'll give you this deal. And maybe the first deal wasn't so great,
And they
but now
in that first deal they didn't even agree to, and then Microsoft actually agreed to extend that for 10 years.
yeah, well,
And now we
there
have
was a deal in between that, but like, yeah, now we're at 10 years, and who knows? And the way Phil talks, they could have Call of Duty in perpetuity. That's not. I don't think that's ever going to change. I don't think that they were ever even planning on taking it off of the PlayStation ecosystem at all.
And it would be stupid to do so. It would be stupid. There's so much profits to be made there.
It's dangerous to say to guarantee to anybody, because you don't know what Call of Duty is going to be in 10 years. It'd be very dangerous to promise that you're going to make a game for PlayStation when 5 years from now, Call of Duty nobody could care about Call of Duty. They could come out with a bunch of stinkers back to back, and people and some other game comes out and takes over the market. It's very dangerous to promise somebody, especially your competitor, a game like that for the next 10 years. But they were willing to do that. So obviously there's the regulation,
The
I don't want to beat
recent reports.
I don't want to beat this horse much longer. Jedi Knight Peter, Umbra, do y'all have anything to say about the exit of the one of the commissioners from the FTC because of Lena Khan's I guess
definitely threw a bomb when she left, didn't she? She called out Lena Khan, stating that all this is basically political. I don't want to go too far into it because I'm kind of sick of this whole acquisition talk. I either want it to be done or not to be done. I don't really care. If I look at the facts of the case, I don't think that the FTC actually has a legal leg to stand on, and there are a lot of laws backing up what. I think the acquisition will go through at the end of the day. This just shows the absolute bias that Lena Khan has for big business, Microsoft, Meta, and I think the law and the courts will rule in Microsoft's favor when we finally get there.
Yeah. Let's be honest, though. When this is all over, I think we're all gonna sit down and take a shot of whiskey because we are just so done, and just celebrate the fact that it's over.
I got a nice 2-fingered glass of bourbon right now, sir.
Exactly. Last thing to say about it, recent reports were suggesting that Sony was in Redmond, Washington, and we have no idea what's going on there, but we may find out more later. So at least looks like they're going to speak with Microsoft directly. So we'll find out more on that as we go on. But other than that, that's pretty much all to say on that.
Shout out
for me.
Go ahead.
Me, I would just say, like, I know we're all tired of talking about it because it's been a solid year and some months. It's like, or at least that's what it feels like. It feels like forever. But I think relevant discussion about whatever new news that pops up is fair. To be fair, but it is tiresome, and I'm kind of at the point where I actually always felt like, man, this ABK acquisition has slowed down so many other things I wish Microsoft would have done first. From WB games to maybe getting some Japanese developer or publisher, rather, like a Capcom or something like that, if that could be had. So for me, it's always been something where I've always been tired of this anyway, because it wasn't something I was like, let's get Activision. Now, it would be great to get Activision simply because of the developers in tow that we would get, especially on the Activision side of all those people that's working on Call of Duty. So many of those developers could be free if they moved this into a yearly schedule. I mean, so many quality developers, as we know. So for me, this thing right here continuously being dragged out is what frustrates me the most. It's like Pete said, and like you all have said, is we know that Microsoft has the winning case, and it's just political theater going on right now that's keeping it, dragging it out because they want to get a win somehow. The FTC, specifically Lena Khan, and so on and so forth. Those in the Democratic Party, and I'm not trying to make it too political, but it is, unfortunately. The Republican who quit the FTC, what was her name? Christina, I believe. Christine Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, Christine Wilson.
She pointed out that the disregard of rule of the law and due process, including the antitrust policy, and I think it's something none of us actually fully know as far as these things go, But it has been something that we've all pointed out on our podcast as far as it being a political show.
Mhm.
Yep.
Agreed.
Somebody's saying that I'm robotic. Is that the case, Mac?
You sound alright to me, mate.
Sound
Yeah,
good
you
to
sound
me.
fine to me.
Oh,
No, you sound fine.
Mac just has poor ears. That makes sense.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, so it's just a political political theater, and it's being drawn out so they can try to get a win. I know that we not many people trust him when it comes to some of these things, but Michael Pachter pointed out something we had all said, which was that uh, obviously is politically led as far as the agenda behind it, and all of these people that from the FTC through the CMA and the EU want to get a win somehow, even though all of these people have no real winning case. So they're trying to get any concession they can to try to get it to go through, and that's what's unfortunately playing out here. And that's why Sony is getting these extensions you all talked about a minute ago. Like, no, Mac, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare do that. So yeah, that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
He want me to kiss his funky ass.
That's right.
No.
You're getting propositions in the chat there, Umbra.
Yeah. Stop this sexual proposition.
I don't
Mac.
see this happen on Xbox Infinite. Apparently,
We have decorum. That's why we have decorum over there.
Oh.
Mac knows not to come over there with these sexual innuendos.
But yeah,
You'll be kicked out.
I know everybody in the chat saying next topic. Let's move on. And I know
I
I
was
agree.
getting more extensions than Madonna had plastic surgeries. Jesus.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's go.
I saw you say something about extensions more than a midget something. I'm like, what? How did that go? How did that go? New?
Sony getting more extensions than midget porn stars.
Gosh,
The
you
hell?
guys are crazy.
Oh Lord.
Big shout out to a couple people in the chat that we got. I hope I'm not going to butcher this name. Brandon Dwyer, Dwyer. Never seen you before in the chat, sir. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. MacBound. If you all didn't catch the episode, MacBound was on Game Set Live 4 weeks ago. Check it out. That episode was fire. And
Unfortunately, it was one of the worst episodes with him on it. But
wow,
I stayed true because of my love for you guys. Oh, did I say that out loud?
God, yeah, you
mute.
did. You did. Mute
Oh,
button. Mute button.
Oops.
We also got Truly
you,
in the
Mac.
chat. Truly, welcome. I see Brando Calrissian just showed up in the chat. Boba Fett Gaming. Everybody, welcome,
Boba?
welcome.
Hey!
Like, share, subscribe, tell a buddy or two. Next topic. So, a game that I have been following since it was a GoFundMe project 3 years ago. The day before. Either this is all fake and it doesn't exist, or they have got the worst luck. So we all heard that they had trademark issues. Well, then it came out that they are saying that there's a calendar app on your phone that stole their trademark. They trademarked the term the day before because of, I guess, calendar app. And then they've said that that holder of that copyright, they've been in touch, but the studio of the day before sounds suspicious of their intentions because they're kind of like, well, let's talk about this and see if we can work out. So it sounds like they may have jumped in there, grabbed a trademark that they knew was going to happen because they knew the game was getting ready to release and that trademark would have to be filed, and this could be a money grab. And then it comes out that because of this trademark issue, that YouTube has actually started to remove some of the day before developers' videos on the platform. It's just killing me because I remember watching this game when it was a GoFundMe and it didn't look as good as it looks now. And I was like, wow, I got to play this. This is like, wow, it's like a zombie sim, a survival sim. I got it, yeah. But developer. This reminds me of Dead Island 2. Remember how Dead Island 2 got stuck in developer purgatory with law battles and switching between developer houses, and then you couldn't move on to the next development house because they had an issue with the old development house, that they had intellectual property that they didn't want to let go of. It's just all a mess. Power Man 4K, sir. Is this a game that you were looking forward to? And what do you think this is another fake game that, because we've all seen the screenshots comparing it to the Tom Clancy game where it just looks like they took out the enemies on one and added zombies and the heroes on one and added survivors. Is this real? And if it is, how can you have this much bad luck?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not a game. I'm not really into. I don't like survival games, so it's not something I was like on my radar. I'm not really big on stuff like that. But I mean, I know that we all go back to the abandoned thing, right? Like that's what kind of triggers our spidey sense when
Yes,
stuff like this
the
starts to
Blue
happen.
developer, wasn't it? Wasn't it Blue?
Yeah. I don't know. Colin Moriarty did an interview with the guy, and basically called him a fraud on his podcast. Yeah, I had said that he just didn't know how high level of a scam it was, but it was a crazy episode of Sacred Symbols. But so yeah, so like that I got vibes from that immediately when I saw the stuff that happened or the stuff that was going on about it, but I don't know. I don't know enough about them to know whether or not. And to be honest, it's not a game that's on my radar. So if it turns out to be fake, you know, I guess fool you once if you believe that it was, kind of thing. Um, for people that are into those kinds of games, I hope for their sake it is. I mean, the stuff that we saw looked kind of cool. There's just too many things out for right now for me to focus on that game. But um, I'm 50-50 on it. It could go either way for me, honestly.
Yeah. Shout out to Yodani in the chat. And we had another person enter the chat. Brando Calrizia? Yeah. Welcome to Game Set Live, where games matter and not the platforms. And Ultimates Gaming, sir? Anything on the day before? I know I can't be the only one that was actually had this game on their radar.
No, I saw it a few years ago. I was hyped to see what it would be, and my hope is that it isn't fake. I mean, I feel like there's just too much here for it not to be, but I also feel like this just like it's very sketchy what situation happens. And worst case or best case, it is just bad luck. It is them just not being smart enough and getting the patent as quick, or yeah, the patent like as quickly as copyright. I'm sorry. The copyright as quickly as possible, as they should have when they already announce it. But I feel like as long as they just probably communicate with the app, as they said they already have, and they probably would get the name figured out. If not, just give it a different name. I mean, I don't see how a name should stop everything else. If you could just think of another one, call it whatever. That or it could be fake, and that would really sadden me because, looking at the gameplay and all that, I love zombie games a lot. Left 4 Dead was my favorite. I was disappointed with Back 4 Blood, but still fun anyway. I love zombie games, like stuff like that, so I'd be happy with another survival horror, survival zombie game. So, I mean, here's hoping, but, we'll find out. Not too much information on it, just a lot of people just saying whether they think it's this or that.
Noof Nukem, how do you feel about zombie games? Did you even care?
I'm a little burned out on zombie games. I haven't really bought a whole lot of them the last while. I didn't buy Dying Light 2, for example, that sort of thing. If there's any zombie game I'm actually, semi-interested in over the next little while, I might be playing The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on my PlayStation VR 2 when I get it. So outside of that, Yeah, don't really care too much right now. But those games, I think they're kind of done to death, at least in my opinion. Some people just live for them, but for me, they kind of get stale pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point. You can only. It's kind of it's not a niche kind of genre, but they do all zombie games just kind of get bunched in together, and it's hard not to do. Even if some do stand out from others, it's still a zombie game.
I'm a little more excited for Redfall. I mean, you get the vampires there for that game, so
Yeah, I know.
They
We don't
also
see
got
very many vampire games on console other than Vampire the Masquerade.
yeah. I don't see much of that genre.
V on Steam. V is really good. V Rising, awesome. Umbra JediKnightPeter, Xbox Infinite Crew. The day before, fake or real?
I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I had this on the put this on your radar section on Xbox Infinite. I think the game looks amazing. I think it looks like The Last of Us in a massively multiplayer open world. I hope stories aren't true. I've spoken to Risket extensively on this topic, and he just says that the game's not coming. He's adamant about it. I I don't know if it's out of hope or out of some type of to just want to remain positive. I'm still hoping the game comes out. So I think it was meant to release in March, and then because of the trademark issues and all that kind of stuff, they've pushed it back to November. At the same time they did that, they also stopped pre-orders from going through. So they're not making any more money off this. If it was going to be a fake game, and if it isn't happening, and that's like the end of the story, why would they then put a 10-minute gameplay demo out the very, very next day while they're still not making, not taking any pre-orders? So, look, I'm hopeful still that the game does exist. Look, I mean, obviously it's a wait and see thing. Its numbers when they first showed this game were, outstanding. It was on the top selling list on Steam for a very, very long time. There's been a lot of pre-orders made for this game. I think the numbers on the YouTube trailer are ridiculous. I think it's something like 8 million people have got eyes on this game. So it's not just me that's interested in it. One thing that I did find concerning is the head of the Discord chat for the day before hasn't seen anything of the game. I think that's what SkillUp mentioned in his video, so I trust SkillUp. He's where I go to get a lot of my gaming information, and he's very skeptical on this game. So yeah, it's a wait and see. I really do hope this game comes out. It's my type of game. I love going into a zombie world with mates. So if it does come out, I'll be playing it.
For real? Damn, it must be true.
Yeah, for me, and I've been in those discussions where Peter talking about with this game, and he has been excited for it. I'm kind of indifferent. I don't care one way or another, to be fair. But if it's true, it would be something great to play with the buddies, and that I can abandon them at any point in time when I see too many zombies and let them be eaten up.
So
Because,
zombies, spiders, and grounded.
Anything that can bite you, I'm pretty much out
Note
of
to
there.
self: if I ever
Yeah.
play with Infinite Umbra, I'm gonna leave him wherever he is.
No, if you
Still leave
carry
him
your
be.
own, I got you, But if you go off and wander off, listen,
Yeah.
my black sense kicks in like I'm Spider-Man. You start going into areas you know damn well better you should not have gone into. See, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I leave this to my white brothers and say, listen, you all are adventurous more so than black folks when it comes to things like this. I'm going to let you all venture out into these dark zone areas and such and see what's going on. And once I see you're starting to be eaten up, I know now not to go that way.
Yeah.
So why would it behoove me to go into an area I know your ass is being eaten up? You see what I mean? It's just common sense. It's common sense. That's all.
So, so what you're saying is you toss the white meat in for test.
Exactly. You get it. You get it. Some people don't get it,
For
but
me,
you get it.
Kind of like
For me,
letting,
my team.
kind of like leaving the fat guys at the back, so when you're getting chased, they're gonna get the slow guys first.
Exactly.
Ugh.
See,
Hey, you're
listen,
giving me a Walking Dead flashback here.
listen, you all have watched Zombieland. You know how it is.
Yeah.
The slow die first. So I have to let my teammates, sacrifice themselves for the greater good. So if you're wandering off into an area that you know better, than especially because I'll give them a warning. I'm like, guys, I don't know. I thought I saw a leaf move. Like, this is our experience in Grounded. It was like, hey, Those leaves are moving kind of crazy over there. You all sure you want to go that way? Oh, we got it, mate. Come on. Can you just grab a few things, Umbra? Come on. And next thing you know, I'm taking my time because I don't believe what he just said. And next thing you know, oh no, it's a spider, run. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have to. I'm far away from where you're at because I told you not to go that way, Pete. And he didn't listen to me. Yeah. So I know that this game would be interesting because of that reason. It looks great because it's supposedly using Unreal Engine 5, which, by the way, I'm an Unreal Engine thought. So anything with Unreal Engine, you pretty much might have me there if it's any semi-realistic type of world. The thing is, though, the game does not seem to be real, unfortunately. And if, like Pete pointed out, the guy, what was he, Pete? The guy that on Discord that said it, that supposedly worked on the game. Uh-oh.
Oh, Pete.
Oh.
We have a usurper here.
Pete.
What's going on in here?
There we go.
See, now you can hear in real time how smooth my voice is compared to the imposter.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I can't find the mute button. Where's the mute button?
You're talking about your superior right there.
See, this is why.
And this is the month of February too. The way you acting, Umbra. That's.
Well, I mean, I have to tell the truth. You know what I mean?
But it don't have to be in public. And hey, P, how you doing?
Pete has apparently away from keyboard.
I think.
Oh, okay. Fabio, what's going on?
For a guy who's named JediKnightPeter, the force is not very strong with that one.
Exactly. He dabbling into dark arts. Peter.
I think one thing. Well, Mr. Bushido, we were talking about.
Here, man? Like me and KY were talking about replacing you. What are you doing here?
Oh no!
No, because see, I figured it was some kind of conspiracy.
I swear, it never happened. I don't know what he's talking about. I wasn't there. It wasn't me.
I was there for that discussion.
That's right.
I hate to burst them out on live, while we're live, but I heard that discussion too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the one to break it to you. You know what I mean?
You could have. You didn't have to. You didn't have to cut Pete off. You just. It felt like you was a.
Come on, boys. Let's
like you was compelled. You just pushed yourself right through Pete.
I didn't want to say anything. Listen, I kept it quiet.
I mean, boys, come on.
There's no need to hide it anymore, KY.
Exactly.
He's
here now. Be honest.
Get everything out in the open.
He's here now. Let's do this. It's Black History Month.
I'm gonna find out eventually. So, what's going on, Power Man, Noof, and Ultimates? What's going on, guys?
Hey, brother.
He's trying to ingratiate himself to you all, so you all don't do what KY told us.
Ingratiate. Umbra's using big words now.
Oh yeah. See?
That's he's the big words now. See? He figured if he's gonna take my place, that's what we have to do.
A lot bigger than you usually use there, Mr. Bush. His resume's looking a little snappier.
I'm just saying, the truth comes to light. You hear it now, Bushido, right?
Gosh.
Man, that's
you hearing it?
No, I'm not.
Mr. Bush for life.
No, I'm not.
Mr. Bush for life. Mr. Bush for life.
No, I just wanted to come in and say hi while the nurses and stuff wasn't coming in, and saying hope you guys have a good show, and I'm gonna go listen in again. So that was it.
Hey, he had to get it out before they come in and remove the catheter.
Oh, that sucks too, man.
Well, they did give me one. I'm tired of getting up and going to a freaking bathroom, man. But it's a nice place. This is a really nice hospital, so I ain't got no complaints. They got like a 70-inch TV here, and they even let me hook up my Series S.
I was going to ask you about that.
What hotel you staying at? I want to be there.
Right?
I'm just imagining Bushido at the hospital, and then all of a sudden we are listening to the nurse saying, "Mr. Bushido and Sava, please take off your phone."
Put your robe back on.
I'm gonna take. I think I sent some pictures to Umbra, but I'll send some pictures in group chats and stuff and show you guys. It's pretty nice. The hospital's only a year old, but it's got like these crazy features. Like I can control the temperature from the controller. I can control the lights. There's a shade I can pull down halfway or midway with just a remote. Dude, this is pretty awesome. They got this frost that's on the door, and if I want, I can turn it off to see outside, and I can turn it back on so we can see inside. Dude, I have never been in a hospital like this before in my life.
In a hospital made by Tony Stark or something.
Right? on the side of the bed. A USB charger on the side of the freaking bed.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot.
No, well, I think because in the hospital, and I'll be doing everything they can to charge my insurance because they're like, hey, why don't you get this done while you're here? And I was like, hey, I don't care, it's not my money. So
Hey, I'll take a 5-star experience like that if you could just gouge the insurance. I agree.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care.
Pretty soon their beds are going to come with VR headsets. You can just sit there and just imagine you're somewhere else.
God, that would make me sick, but good idea.
Right. All right, guys. So I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Like I said, I'm gonna jump back and listen. So,
All right.
You guys having a good show so far.
Get better,
even
Mr. Bushy.
Even with that guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but around the tundra. So
he who shall not be named.
And,
he should not be named around the tundra.
I just want to say no hard feelings. When you see me on the show more permanently on a permanent basis.
You say it's just business.
Yeah,
it's just business.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's just like an NFL trade.
Bushido gets out of here, I'm gonna have to clean up all the blood and everything. Stop it, guys! Stop.
Oh no!
Trading Bushido for 2 Doritos next.
Right. Sheesh, man. Bobby, who's next, man? You ain't get rid of Noof. I ain't letting that happen. You could get rid of me, but you ain't getting rid of Noof. Ultimus, he's gonna take care of himself, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off to do better things.
I'll let you guys later on. I gotta stop messing with y'all. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right,
talk to you later,
brother.
All right, brother.
Well, I now know how many people I can fit on the screen with the current template, and it is 8. No more than 8.
Thank the fuck God you said on the screen. I was so worried that where that phrase was going.
Whew. Yeah. So, where were we before we got derailed by Mr. Bushido in
Before I was so rudely interrupted, I was basically saying, I don't think the game is actually a real thing. And I mean, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Personally, it's too many things coming against it. And the guys that's working behind it are not coming forward and putting any PR forward that gives me any confidence in it being a serious thing. So I guess until then, I'll just wait and see what happens.
Well, I'm looking at the gameplay right now, and other than some things that are pretty generic, there's a lot here that it couldn't just be, a fake thing. Like, there's a lot going on here that takes a long time to develop.
Oh, the game's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
One thing that's very concerning is how they're paying their developers. So a lot of it is done on a pro bono thing. How many people, when you look at the quality of the game and the quality of the development, to think that they're not paying any of them and all of them have been working for all those years on a game that looks that beautiful on a pro bono basis, that sets alarm bells off. I still want it to be true.
There's some things wrong with this, and we'll probably find out later. But to be honest, the game itself and the gameplay we're being seen, which is continuous and which is generally continuous, it kind of cuts to different areas. But for what we're seeing, looks pretty good.
Yeah, I edited it out all because I play with subtitles on because I'm becoming deaf. So I play with subtitles on, and even if I don't have the sound on, then if I was to play cutscenes, it would kind of spoil some things. So I made sure that I took out everything. I edited out all the stuff that may give anything away. So, looking out for the audience.
Yeah, you always get you covered. So
the next thing that I want to go into, next topic, and before we go into that topic, big shout out to It's Timmy V2. Besides It's Timmy V2 and Thember, I think these two guys, I don't know how they do it because I love podcasts, and I got my favorites, and I can't catch them all when they're on. But to Thember and It's Timmy V2, they managed to be in every chat. Sometimes I think they've got different devices going. But shout out to you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the show. Next topic. So, Atomic Heart released a trailer. And it's not the trailer that you would expect. It's almost like they're taking a jab at the other really big game that came out this month, because there may be a robe involved, there may be a witch's hat and a wand involved, and she's trying to take out a robot, something like that, and then the the dude has got to show her how it's done in this game. Did anybody else notice that jab at Hogwarts Legacy in that trailer? Or was I just seeing things? Anybody?
Generally obvious.
Yeah.
I was able to catch a glimpse of it. Cool trailer. But they're definitely doing that, taking a jab at the other popular game, and I think that's fun. I think that's cool. It goes for cool trailers, kind of making fun of each other, South Park style. I like that. It was cool. Can't wait for that game to launch. Looks really fun. Looks like there's gonna be tons of things to see and explore. Another game to crush my backlog, and another thing for me to say I'm gonna finish and then never finish until I decide one day, oh, I'm gonna finish it.
You see,
That's pretty much all it sounds like to me.
I got it a little better than most people because my wife is a big gamer too. She's got her own guild in ESO that she runs on a daily basis. I've just managed to pull her away and get her into Hogwarts Legacy, and she's been playing it for 2 days, and she's farther than I am, and I've played it a few hours every day since Friday. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. Back to Atomic Heart. Next week. I mean, we're getting close, guys. What are we? 5 days. 5 days from Atomic Heart. And
Ready?
yeah, the 21st.
God damn it.
More like Borderlands this game, the more I'm going to enjoy it. I can't wait for it. I think the combat looks solid. I think the story looks crazy and wacky, which I'm really into. So I've stopped watching videos on Atomic Heart because I was sold, and it's on Game Pass. So, get to try it out for free.
Yeah,
actually,
no
the next
risk,
couple
man.
of games
No
are going to be on
risk.
Game Pass. Yeah, exactly. Atomic Heart, Wulong. I can't wait for both of them. I get it, Ultimus. The backlog's just getting crazy, mate. But I am not touching any game or downloading any game until I finish Hogwarts. Hogwarts is that good to me.
But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had...
Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought there for a second, and moved on. The whole reason I brought up my wife is that I married a gamer, so she doesn't have a problem when I want to come back here and spend 4 or 5 hours gaming. And I still can't work through my backlog because everything else, my guitars, the podcast, everything pulls me away from gaming.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. But hey, and Noof knows about it. Noof knows him and his motorcycle.
It's
That's right.
That's his real partner in life right there. His bike.
Right.
But so do we think, I'm not going to go into specifics because we all know the controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy and the author, the owner of the intellectual property. We all know that. But we also know about a little thing going on in Ukraine. And do we think that they're gonna come out and try to ban Atomic Heart 2 because it's
well, they already started, to be fair, Bob. They kind of already did. But I don't think it's going to have anywhere near the same level of backlash compared to what Hogwarts and Rowling. So that's the thing. I do have my thoughts around Hogwarts, though, that I'll discuss if we get to that point before I have to get out of here. But as far as this goes, I think this is kind of going to fall to the wayside. I think people have said what they're going to say already about this when it comes to the controversy surrounding it. And much like the case with this Hogwarts thing, it's not something I'm going to put on these publishers or developers, rather, versus, the greater, bigger issue at hand. It's not incumbent on them to what their government is doing. I don't think that's fair.
True that.
But yeah.
I agree. And we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a joke. Cancel culture has become a joke. I don't think J.K. Rowling said anything wrong. That's my personal opinion. She just believes women are women and only women born women are actual women. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that kind of logic. I think it's just science. In terms of blaming developer for what their government is doing. That's a joke.
Yeah, because we've seen soldiers over
with your
there
wallets.
we've seen Russian soldiers that don't even agree with the war. That we've seen them leave their vehicles on the road and walk away.
Yeah, and they will get shot, literally shot, if they get caught doing that. There's also Russian soldiers going out there with 100-year-old weapons. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing over in Russia, but not everybody can be held accountable for what their government's doing. It's cancel culture really, really needs to stop. I'm so glad Hogwarts did so good, and there's been a little bit of a pushback in the community on this nonsense that's going on because it's gone too far. I don't think Atomic Heart is going to do the numbers anywhere near close to Hogwarts. Do I think that it's going to have an effect? Yeah. Look, some people are quite, I'm happy for them not to buy the game. If they don't believe in the actual game, if they don't believe in the product, if they want to vote with their wallets, then I think that they should be allowed to. It's not going to stop me from playing it and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. True that.
I'm at the same place when it comes to that. My thing is just don't try to force me to see things how you do. I respect everybody wherever you're at in life, you know what I mean? But some things are silly, and the Hogwarts things to me is silly, honestly. But as far as this situation, I feel like it could have some reverberations, but it being on Game Pass is going to alleviate a lot of that anyway, to be fair. And I'm going to say this, as much as excited as I am to play Atomic Heart, I'm much in the same camp as Pete, where Hogwarts is going to have me tied down for a second before I get on to that. So I'm happy for it to come out, but I'm not going to be touching that game likely for another 2 weeks after it's been released, if not longer, because I have Dead Space to get through as well. So.
And Hogwarts made everything so accessible from the get-go. I mean, there were some things in the castle where you had to do some side quests to figure them out, but other than that, it was just so open. So there are people that are saying, I've played for 40 hours and it says I'm only 30% finished with the game. It's just that kind of game. And it's not like you're walking around in an empty space. We've all seen the game is that huge world, nothing to do. That is not the case here. It's everywhere. From the details. And I got to tell you, this thing has got to be a beast on the CPU. Because just like in the movies, every hallway you walk down, every picture is doing its own thing. Every suit of armor is doing its own thing. Even getting a little fed up and beating the crap out of the other one. I saw that on Twitter today. That is hilarious. But yeah, it's like just like in the movies, Hogwarts is alive. When you walk down the hallway, when you go to the grand staircase, everything is moving. It's all random, and the pictures are just kind of living their own lives and hollering at you and stuff, and it's just wow. I mean, I will really be in April. In April, it comes out on PS4 and Xbox One in April on Jaguar CPUs. I can't wait to see how much they had to cut down everything going on around you, because this.
I heard on those versions you have to cast your spells 30 seconds in advance.
Wow.
The game is actually like really highly optimized though. Like on PC, with a mid-range PC, it's doing like well over 100 frames at 1080p between mixtures of medium and high. With without having to give up anything. It's actually a very well optimized game. Everybody seems surprised that Avalanche was a capable studio. And I was like, they were a capable studio before Hogwarts. You know what I mean? Like, so it shouldn't be as surprising, I guess, when as soon as I knew that they had their hands in making a Harry Potter game, a Hogwarts Legacy. I was immediately excited because I knew that was a good studio and they're competent developers.
Now, let me ask you, brother, are you sure you're not confusing it with the other Avalanche?
No. I know the other Avalanche. Yeah.
Disney Dreamlight Valley is one thing. This is on a whole nother level, but I was just looking at the quality of the textures and the detail on the floor. I was literally just watching the floor.
Well, I know a lot of people give it a lot of.
He got a vodka Davrid.
No, right? He just got fucking crucioed.
I love it. Something bad happens and all the dark arts come out. Yeah.
He got a Discordio Levo.
Discordio Levo. Discordio Dispatchio.
Welcome back, Peter. And there he goes again.
And there he goes again.
So I found one glaring issue with the game. So I'm going to mention 2 issues, and one of them is probably fixable with an update. Sometimes, and it only happens with one professor, and it's the professor that you meet at the very beginning of the game. Is pretty much tied to you through the story. I've noticed that sometimes when you're going through cutscenes with him, there'll be artifacting on his face and through his shoulder.
I've noticed that.
It's Professor Fig.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, it's Professor Fig, but I think it's only for one mission when he's in that specific room. That's where I've noticed it as well.
And the other issue that I've noticed is, so we have recently found out that this game was originally supposed to have a curfew system, where if you were out at night, you had to sneak around in fear of being caught in your house, losing points, and so on and so forth. So now, when you're running around at night and you're like, okay, I've ran around and done all this, BS long enough, I'm ready to go hop back on the main storyline. So you go to the area to start the main mission, back up, and you have the option to wait. And basically the screen dims, there's like a 2-second load, screen comes back up, and it's now daylight and you're ready to go accept the next mission or the next quest. So, and that is doing it that way and doing it in the map screen are the only 2 ways to advance time. But I think it's rather odd that if you wanted to really be traditional with it, I went back to my house, which I'm a Ravenclaw. I went back to my house and actually went back into my bedroom at night, and I did not have the option to sleep. The only option I had in that room was to check my mail with my owl at what must have been 2 in the morning. I think they really missed out there because people
you're nitpicking there, bro, honestly.
Well, I know, but
I disagree. I completely disagree.
I do hear where you're coming from with it, but I think giving us more freedom in how we approach things, I think worked out better for it. But I definitely do get what you're saying, because if you do certain missions, like for instance, when you're learning the Alahamara to unlock locks and stuff like that, you have to sneak in a certain portion. So you could tell that was going to be a part of their systems. And it did kind of add a little tense, little stealth, whatever. So that was kind of cool. And it made use of you using disillusionment. So I definitely get where you're coming from with it. But to me, it doesn't hurt it. So I guess that's where I'm standing there.
Now,
the only thing that hurts the game, in my opinion, is that I don't know if everyone's getting it. I have looked it up. There's a robotic voice thing on my character. And it is constant, and the only way I can fix it is by saving out of the game and then loading back in completely. And what the only fix for it so far is if I completely start the game again and not change the pitch of the character's voice from the very beginning. And by the time I first realized that, I was, I think, 4 hours in, and I wasn't gonna, start the game completely over again. That is a massive gripe I have with the game, because every single cutscene I go to, my character's voice becomes extremely robotic. I've spoken to numerous people that have played the game. I've spoken to Monad. I've spoken to, I think, you, Umbra, about it, and none of you guys have had the same problem I've had. But it is definitely in the game, and there is no fix to it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because ACG, when he did the review, he talked about it, and he warned that when you pick your character in the voice, don't change the tone pitch. That's what it is. You change the tone pitch, so when it does it, it has a odd robotic sound to it. Sounds somewhat auto-tuned or something like that.
Well,
I forgot.
It's funny you should mention that, because I did. I changed my tone pitch down to the deepest tone that I could, because I have a deep voice, and so I figured, well, let's see how the deep voice sounds. So I went all the way down with it. So I have the deepest tone possible in my character's voice, and I haven't experienced that robotic bug at all. And I'm 8 hours in.
I don't actually understand why. I've been trying to figure out why I'm getting it and other people aren't getting it. I can't figure it out. Maybe it's my headset. I played the other day without my headset and I just used my surround sound speakers and the voice was perfect. I didn't have that problem. So I actually really don't know what's causing it.
So, Noof Nukem, sir, I know that when we talked about it, you were waiting until the next day to get your copy.
Yes.
You said that's what you've been playing. What are your impressions? Is this possible game of the year?
I would definitely have to think it would be in that conversation. Now, whether it's going to end up as my game of the year candidate, it's too early to tell. This is a big year, and there's a lot of games coming. But let me just tell you, this game. I mean, this would be a good game even without the Hogwarts, the name on it. It would be a solid game. But of course, it's obviously selling a lot more because of its association with that world and that lore. But I think, we've had Harry Potter style games in the past where they basically, fixate themselves on trying to recreate the magic of the movies. What this game basically does is it kind of brings the movies to you, but you get to be at the focal point of attention. Again, the character creation, stuff like that. And the game, like I said, it doesn't just lure you in, like it gets you right into the game immediately. They basically have tutorial style missions that don't really feel like your typical tutorial. They're actually fun and very interesting. I love how the whole dynamic of learning the mechanics works in this game. It's fantastic. I mean, the graphics are outstanding. The character models are great. The characters, like right off the bat, that's one thing about a lot of games. There's a lot of games you play and you go, the game was fun, but then when people say, can you remember the characters? You kind of go, no. But in this game, right off the bat, I mean, like even the evil troll guy, I mean, he's just amazing, right? Like, what's his name? Ragnarok, is it? Ragnarok?
Yes.
Ragnarok or something? Like, right from the bat, like you just go, oh, now this is a guy I can't wait to go kick his ass or do something. He's just menacing and and just I'm not that very far in the game, but it's just so detailed. Like you said, all the little details that they put a lot of care, love, and attention went into this game, and it's I'm playing it on the PS5 in the fidelity mode, with sort of the higher end graphics, I guess, running or whatever, and the ray tracing or whatever have you. But even then, like it doesn't bother me. Like
the game playing on fidelity plus ray tracing.
Yeah, like whatever the top graphic mode is or whatever. Yeah,
I have a story about that. Actually,
mate, it was so stuttery. I tried to play it in that mode, but I just couldn't do the 30 frames. It was jarring.
Yeah, I mean, each their own.
I mean to jump in. Bobby, did you start a new one? Because I saw one to cut off, but I can't find.
No, it's. I've got it running in the background. I'm monitoring real time right now, and it's still running.
Because it cut off for me. Like the show is over.
No, it's still going. I'm still looking at it right now.
No, I'm watching it live, sir. No, it has not.
No,
and don't scare me, Ultimus. Don't you ever do that again? Don't you ever disrespect
me. We did have some audience members.
Never.
We had some audience members last week that said that the show was showing short and that they couldn't. But it was only just a handful of people.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the show everybody else in the show that was monitoring didn't seem to have an issue. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, YouTube it's fickled.
Yeah. I'll go back and see if I can just refresh it.
Everybody can get the priority like RDX and Xbox Infinite.
Yeah. Man, all you have to do is have the show Infinite Gaming, and I guess that's enough too.
So let me throw this out here. Let me throw this out.
I just wanted to say, Noof, Professor Garlic is very unforgettable if you haven't got up to her.
Well, no, I'm like I said, I'm only several hours into the game at best. I'm a long ways back, or where most of you guys are. But I can just tell you, look, my first impressions are very favorable. Loving the game. It's a lot of fun. Some of the stuff that you earn throughout the game is great, and the little customizations on the wands. Like I said, it's kind of got that Grand Theft Auto level of sort of attention to detail. You know what I mean? And it just looks like a great recreation, I guess, like I said, of the worlds we've grown familiar with in the movies. And just as a standalone game itself, regardless of the title associated with it, it's just phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do, and the combat is actually quite good, which is one of the things I was a little bit worried about with this game, is just how's the combat going to translate. So once again, Avalanche Studios, man, super talented. Them in association with Portkey Games, they knocked this one out of the park so far, and I definitely think you're going to see this will be one of this year's biggest selling games, and it certainly, I think, at this point, probably will be or should be considered in the Game of the Year nominations.
Yeah. I'm going to shift this to Power Man 4K because he absolutely loves this game. He's in love with the lore, the story, everything. Sir, just tell us how much you drool over this, and then I'm going to give you a unique perspective on what I think may be DLC down the road.
Actually, just kind of disappointed that I can't be a Avada people and then raise my heat level and then get chased by Dementors all across the map, because that's kind of what I was hoping out of my Hogwarts Legacy, but that's just me.
You want a GTA version of it?
How cool would that have been? You know what I mean? You have to, and then you got to break out of Azkaban.
That does sound dope. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just hit somebody runs their mouth when you're passing by them in Hogwarts. You hit it with that. You hit it with that split giggity, and then you're gone. And then you just dip out. you just like skedaddle on the broom, and you're like Dementors like chasing you, and like the Ministry of Magic and shit.
Brooms, goddamn.
I like it.
Yeah, this game's awesome, man. It broke the highest concurrent single player record on Twitch, and I know that it has some drops or whatever, but it was like 1.28 million that did it on Twitch. It really goes to show you, and I think the thing that we need to take away from this is something I always talk about, and because. And I know that we all know it, right? As soon as we leave the podcast and we leave the Twitter and stuff, we live in a bubble, man. Our gaming circle is small. The world that we pay attention to is a lot smaller than the real world. Most people that are out there, they saw that a game that was based on Harry Potter was coming out and they wanted to play it. So that's what they did. They went out and they bought the game and they played the game. There were so many people from my generation and younger generations, of course, too, but whenever I was coming up, Harry Potter was coming. I was a little bit older, but, they were huge, and I had already read the books from school when I was in middle school. And, this is the game that we all imagined that we could have back then, but we just didn't have the technology for it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad it's out. I'm glad it's successful. I'm hoping to see a successor. I would like to see more games from them in this universe. I think would be really cool. I think that for them to come out swinging as hard as they did with this game, I'm most excited to hear what this game sold. I really want to know how many copies this game ends up getting out to people, because I think that I think we could have a game that would probably beat out Elden Ring, because I know Elden Ring last year was the number 2 selling game of the year, and I think this is this year's Elden Ring, if I had to take a guess.
On PlayStation 5, it's sold 80% more so far. That's just physical sales. We haven't got digital sales numbers yet. But look, I agree. I think this is going to outsell Elden Ring. This game it's caught on like wildfire. Not only is it got the record for concurrent Twitch streaming, I think it was second just behind Cyberpunk for Steam concurrent players, or something like 880,000, something along those lines. So yeah, this is going to blow away all the records.
So I am curious about one thing, and you know me in console wars. I don't want to get into it, but I do. I did pay attention to who had marketing rights for this game, and that would have been Sony. I'm looking at Metacritic right now, and on the Series X, user score is a 9, flat, 9.0. Metascore, by actual reviews, is a 90. If you switch to the PS5 version, Their user score is 1 point higher at a 9.1, but the Metascore is a full 6 points lower by reviews. An 84 by critics on PS5 and a 90 by critics on Series X. And this is something I would have expected to see with, FRS issues on Dead Space Remake or something like that. Not a game that should be running just fine on both systems.
Got nothing
I'm a
to
little
do with
confused.
how it's running, Bobby.
What?
It's got to do with the amount of what we were talking about earlier with pushback in the community on not wanting to play the game. I think people have scored at 1 and 0 because they've refused to even review it, not even play it. It's got nothing to do with how it runs, unfortunately. Oh. It's just the cancel culture rearing its ugly head.
Okay. Did you guys see that one person that was it Vox or something? They gave it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, we saw it,
and just completely disingenuous about. That's the thing with like media journalism and maybe journalism in general. But I remember and I know that we mentioned, like Digital Foundry, right? Like, at what point did we stop just doing what we were supposed to do, which is report the news or report on the performance of said thing that we're talking about, right? Like, we're calling Hogwarts Legacy a baby game when we're up in, like, we love Ratchet and Clank and we love Kirby's Adventure.
Don't get me started on John
right?
Linneman. That
fool!
Oh my God!
How are we going to talk about Hogwarts being a child? And here's the thing: if you're gonna stand your ground about it, then have the balls to say what you want to say. Don't dance around it. Don't say it. Don't say it's a baby game. Say what you want to say, right? Like, say what you actually mean. I have more respect for you if you just went out there and said it. I don't mind people having something to stand on. Hey, if you feel that way, it is what it is. But don't dance around it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that every game, regardless of origins or whatever, deserves to be reviewed. And see, the thing about it is they saw how successful it was, and now they're gonna review it because they feel, maybe in my eyes, I feel like they feel comfortable enough to talk about it because enough people went out and bought it. You know what I mean? If this thing was universally panned,
honestly, guys, John Linneman,
Metacritic and OpenCritic to actually take those reviews away because they're not actually reviewing the game.
Yeah,
John Linneman and Digital Foundry sometimes, man, they're on the borderline of being like Kotaku. You know what I mean? Like, I think they know what they're doing, and I definitely think once in a while that he likes to do that shit just for attention, because they know, like a lot of these websites and media outlets know, they're getting way more hits from this bullshit vitriol that they put out all the time. Like, they just love to see a comparison where the Xbox doesn't perform so well. It always seems to me like they get off on it a little bit, like, oh, Xbox doesn't have as many frames in this one, and it's just like, I don't know, man. These guys, I mean, they know what they're talking about. They're very smart and stuff like that, but they're also smart enough to know what gets views to their fucking sites.
Yeah. So
I don't even,
they do.
And his take on that is terrible. Like, that's just like, yeah, if you're gonna call it a childish game and stuff like that, well, dude, like, I hope you don't play anything on Nintendo, because that whole thing feels like it was built for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, the funny thing is, that's what I was actually worried about when I first heard about this game, and I wasn't really interested in this game at all. It was up until I saw a few gameplay videos of the actual game that I started to realize that it's not a child's game at all. There's actually quite dark aspects to this game. The dialogue is very dark at points where you can actually choose to be good or you can choose to be bad. It's very similar to what I would consider the morality system in Mass Effect, and I love that. I love that they've made it more adult friendly. This is not a child's game in any way, shape, or form.
Or Fable, right, where you could choose a good path or a bad path, and maybe not as whimsical, but like still the same concept of like good versus evil versus like that gray area that you can kind of ride in between or whatever. So
Gargoyle is very much a Easter egg to Fable, if you ask me. I think you run into him very early on into the game.
Yeah.
To me, interestingly enough, I did kind of get Fable vibes a lot traveling around and such too.
Yeah, me too.
Which is a major positive.
The first Fable. You remember when you're first in the village? Like, I saw Hogsmeade and I was like, man, like I have just had this envision of like that might be, that just feels like Fable. You know what I mean? And got me really excited for, what the future of that could bring. You know what I mean? To see a game that's so close to that in nature and atmosphere.
So let me throw an idea out here. We've already talked about how we found out here recently that there was going to be a curfew system, and I complained about the small things like don't have the sleep prompt at your bed if you were going to play it like traditionally, or really be immersed into it. Now this is really awesome. What if there was an update that added a story plus mode, and that was part of it, where you had to actually sneak around with invisibility and a cloak every time it got past curfew, like Harry Potter had to do in the movies?
That would add replayability. That would,
Yeah, that would be
probably
pretty
give players
cool.
a reason to return. You add that in with a couple of other things. Game Plus is supposed to be more. You've already got the experience. You've already got that. So that would not be a bad idea, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I think it would be a good idea.
I think it would be on the Digital Foundry, because I didn't get a chance to say anything about that.
Oh, sorry.
All I gotta say is their job, or at least what they're supposed to be, is they're supposed to review things no matter what they think. They can think of whatever they want about it, but they've kind of put it out there that we're just gonna review these games, talk about the technical aspects, and that's all they should be doing. All they've done recently is let what they personally think just get in the way, and all we've seen is that people do not like that. You're just here to, we watch you, so you review these games, talk about it, and then you make these comments, and then you get criticized for it, and then you walk it back and you say this and you say that, and then your team comes out and says, oh no, we're gonna start reviewing it. That's a horrible image. And I've publicly been saying stuff like that. I'm like, you're supposed to just review this stuff, talk about it, especially with all the technical everything that I'm hearing. It's just like the game technically and visually and everything is just amazing, and so you're not going to review something like that. That is primarily ridiculous.
I'm in the same area with it, and it's like you said before, like was pointed out before. If you feel a way about something, just say it with your chest. You don't have to sit here and dance around it like Linneman did, and say all of these idiotic things about it being a kid game and all of that. None of that made sense when you're talking about Nintendo and you love Kirby. Just shut up. But on top of that, you're going around eating up everything with Kirby and sucking up everything, and then you're talking about kiddie games. Just don't say anything like that. But
that's also insulting those fan bases.
It is too.
That's not a good image. That's not what you should be doing, because that you're not like you're a critic.
Yeah, and the thing is, just like what's pointed out too. Yeah, exactly, Ultimates. And the thing that's pointed out too is like you're not even going here to review the game. You're reviewing the technical aspects of it. So what does that have to do with you and your view of politically? One doesn't contradict the other.
Have your view. I don't talk politics here, and I never will. I'll never talk about it publicly. What I think is my business, and I don't think anybody else's business to hear it. But for that, I've always hold the same point of view on everything. I play games to have fun. I look at all games the same, and there's some genres I don't like. And I think on this situation, they should have just been looking at it from, okay, this is a new game coming out. It has some technical things to it. Let's review it. Let's look at it. No matter what we feel, that is what everybody should do.
And Digital Foundry used to be that. 10 years ago, Digital Foundry was the go-to place to find out what video cards, what CPUs, what memory ran things better for gamers, and what consoles, the differences, and they never picked a side. And now, over the last few years, I feel like that's all they do is pick sides, whether it's a console or a viewpoint or anything.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree on that. They have been showing a bit more of just their this or that. Not really just having that, not having that just, we don't take sides. We're just telling you what the facts are.
The PS5 was made for racing games. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Well, wait until Forza Motorsport comes out and whoops that ass. You tell me then.
Hey, sir. I thought this was about the games and not the platforms, okay? PlayStation 5 is greatness, all right, and PSVR 2 is gonna outsell Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, I may have lost. I'm working on it. Okay.
No, and that's fine. You know, have your opinion on it, and
I'm
you
going
could
to
think that what they,
AAFB, okay?
you could think that what they
AAFB.
you could disagree with what they say. I think they've made some comments that even I personally disagree with. And that's what I'm saying. I used to actually just, as the same thing like Bobby was saying, I used to look at Digital Foundry with that, they're gonna give me the information and all this. I've just noticed recently that it's just kind of I feel like a bit of a bias there, and that's just I don't like that. I think most places shouldn't, at least doing what they do, should not be looking at it from a bias. They should just be giving us the straight facts, and that's it.
Shout out to Gerald Mack, who just jumped into the chat a few minutes ago, sir. I seen you as soon as you came in, but I gotta let the fellas talk. Glad to have you here, sir, and enjoy the show. Everybody who's listening right now, you may have to. We ran into this last week. For some reason, the show stops, and then it starts back up, and so we've been live now for over an hour and a half. But for some reason, the show will only show like 9 minutes, and then even tonight, after the show's over, it'll only show the show as being like an hour long. But for some reason, tomorrow, YouTube will put it all back together early in the morning, and there'll be a full show up there. And then I have to go on Twitter and say, "Hey, everybody, the full show's up if you want to catch it," which I think is crazy. I don't know what, because all of the people on the show right now, myself and the co-hosts and the guests, ours are still going. But for some reason, we have some of the audience that it's just resetting on them, and I don't understand. I'm sorry about it, guys. I don't know why it's doing it.
For me. So it has done that for me once or twice every now and then. It hasn't been bad at all tonight. I don't know why. Could be the fact that I'm watching it on my PC. It could be the fact that they're watching on their phones. I don't know. There's some issues. YouTube has its problems, and then there's the stream is it. So not really much we can do there. But
I don't get it either. It happened to me, by the way. The last time I watched you all, it kept cutting out. It's like 3 times it kicked me.
So I recommend for everyone, just back it up a minute. Just you have to stay behind a little bit, but you won't have that problem. That's all I can really recommend. I don't think there's any real fix on our end that we can do.
Yep. Unfortunately.
I do want to say that if you like JRPGs, Sword and Fairy Together Forever, coming to Game Pass on July 6th. Yes.
That'll be great. We need more games like that. No, I love my JRPGs. I have to be in a mood, but having more of them and having more access. And there goes Peter again.
Oh, poor Peter.
Just all that. I think unless you got another, we should go into the next topic before we get off again. Unless you want to continue with this.
The only topic that I have left is so Hogwarts Legacy. Where do you think it stands as far as Game of the Year? What do you think it'll be nominated for? And who is its real competition this year? You only get one choice. You can't say Starfield and Redfall. You have to give me one competitor to this game this year. And Jesus Christ!
The new Legend of Zelda game, I think, is going to be up there.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. The Legend of Zelda series is iconic, and that is a very.
I'm going to go to JediKnightPeter first.
Nobody's played it.
Look, I am going to have to not go by your rules, KY, because I can't not pick 2. I think it's going to be out of the three games. I think it's going to be Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2, and Starfield. I think Zelda will win. Nintendo just tends to win all the time. I cannot believe Starfield isn't going to win Game of the Year, because it's Bethesda's first IP in 25 years, but I think it might actually happen. So far, Hogwarts has got my vote. I haven't played the other 2 games yet, but this game is masterpiece status for me. I'm loving every single minute of it. That prologue, it went for 15 minutes, just pulls you into the game. It was gaming perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, is it a fair question for you to say, like, the year has barely started in terms of gaming, and you're
Yeah.
already making the question of where Hogwarts Legacy stands for, and, like, it's impossible to not put Starfield. Like, I, for one,
Yeah, but at Fabio, we knew
I
that
haven't
Elden Ring
played.
was going to be
Yes.
Game of the Year, and that came out in February as
Yeah.
well.
Everybody knew
So,
I
Elden
agree.
Ring was special when it came out because
No,
of
yeah.
everybody
yeah,
talking
Yeah.
and
yes,
playing together.
yes, but take into consideration
Too bad
of.
it's trash.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring got released early that year. Okay, fair enough. But what do we have after Elden Ring? That's the thing. Take into
We had
consideration
a
that
Well,
we
we
had
have
a few good games. I won't
no,
disagree after the
of
launch, but
course.
let's
Other
be
than God of War
honest.
Ragnarok, I can't think of any.
Yeah. God of War Ragnarok, and then my, A Plague Tale Requiem for me, there really wasn't
Horizon
anything
Forbidden
else to
West.
combat that juggernaut of a game. There really
Exactly.
wasn't.
Now take into consideration this year. So
Well,
you
if I'm
see
going to
what I
take
mean?
consideration in, sorry, go ahead.
So like you see what I mean? Like last year, why that even though everybody was saying that Elden Ring was Game of the Year, it got Game of the Year because the games that came out after, the only game that was actually worth for them to be nominated as Game of the Year was God of War.
No,
This year we got
Plague Tale.
is
Plague Tale was worth it.
Plague Tale had,
And there
had
was also
some.
a difference.
sorry,
We didn't know a lot of those games were going to get pushed back.
sorry,
Narrative
Umbro.
really stands up.
Yeah,
Sorry,
last year
sorry,
was pretty
Umbro.
disappointing in general.
I forgot
I
about.
was just really glad that Jeff Keighley actually answered all my emails and put Stray on there for Game of the Year contender.
Like,
That was the only one that made sense to me.
That should not have been nominated. That's the funniest part. That being there was the joke. But
Okay,
for me,
and,
the
and
thing is, I think it's
Go
early
ahead.
enough. It is too early. I get what Fabio's trying to say, but
this year, yeah.
yeah, it's
Uh,
early.
I,
But
uh,
when
uh,
certain games are so great, like Hogwarts is, it's obvious that it belongs in that discussion,
Oh no,
no matter
Yeah.
what comes after.
Horizon Forbidden West should have been in the
no,
discussion, in my
here's
opinion. But
the thing.
we'll discuss.
Over Stray for sure.
Agreed.
Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
So far,
definitely.
Hogwarts, like, here's the thing. So far, Hogwarts Legacy, I have no doubt that it is the game of the beginning of the year. It is the dominant one, and it is so far the game of the year. That's a fact. I didn't. I
I
haven't
think
played,
dominance too less of a word, to be honest, but I'll discuss that in a moment.
like, what is going to happen throughout the rest of the year? What if at the end of it
I,
we discover that okay, it might be a contestant, but of course it's not going to win that. Like,
I
what
think
if we change
different
our
on
minds?
that. I think different. I think why this game probably would win, or at least has a high chance, is its mass success. It's more successful than Elden Ring, which is like mind blowing. It's having massive success. Although I would vouch for some other games. To be honest, I don't think a juggernaut of a series like this, and just how great this game's been received, is gonna be doing is not gonna be doing any better. Is that if anything's gonna be doing any better than this game? Now, of course,
I
we're gonna
think
have some
Jedi
great
Survivor
releases.
has a chance. Jedi Survivor has a chance.
I think that too, but you don't really see a lot of Star Wars games winning awards as well, which you got to take in that there's some things there.
The first one should have been nominated, but they
Oh, that first one was great. That first one was great, but yeah. But then we've also seen
a
juggernauts of
UIP,
games.
which also makes it stand out a little bit as well. Like,
I would say
Sorry,
just to add, I hear you on it, Ultimates, but I would counter by saying I think this game actually is in danger of not being nominated because of political reasons and agenda reasons.
Yeah, no. Jeff Keighley's not going to touch this game, bro. I don't even know if it'll be on the. I don't even think it'll be in. It won't even be in the runnings.
Yeah,
because
And
the
I won't
backlash.
speak on that. I'll just speak on the success.
the
I
game
don't
of the
speak
year's
on
broken
that.
then.
The public backlash that he would receive for making that. First off, if it won Game of the Year, forget about it. He's going to be harassed for the next year and a half, 2 years.
When he has nothing to do with it.
He won't be able to show his. He won't be able to show his face on Twitter, and that's the problem. Is like this game is never going, and that's what sucks. It's like yes, it's selling, but it's never going to get the fair shake. Have you noticed that every single thing they talk about with Hogwarts Legacy, there's a disclaimer about J.K. Rowling on it. Every single one. Every time they talk about this game, they say, just in case you didn't know, J.K. Rowling is somehow, made this get in all her stances. They have to say that And then they have to say
I've
how
seen that, but it
people
wasn't put
literally
that way.
said.
Again,
The
I won't
disclaimer
speak
I
It's
saw
up to us
was that the
and everyone
publication
else
did
in the
not
community to push
did
back
not
against
stand
that.
by her views. That was the disclaimer
Right.
I saw.
Yeah. I guess that's what I
It's
was
up
trying
to
to
us
say.
and
But like,
everyone else in the community to push back against that narrative. So games like this can be nominated for Game of the Year purely on the game itself and not any other nonsense. Like, I'm sick of this narrative where if somebody has a belief, everybody else has to have that same belief, and if you don't, then you're shunned within a community. We really, really need to start pushing back against it. Strong people need to stand up and just say what they believe. Like, say that what's going on right now is not right. This game should be based on the quality of the game and nothing else. And the game is.
I've said it before. If you
right.
knew how half of the actors, producers, sports figures, authors, if you knew what half the ones you adored actually thought, you would literally have nothing to do in your life. Nothing to watch, nothing to enjoy. You don't want to know what people think. You just appreciate the art they create. That's all I'm saying.
Umbra and I had this discussion. You wouldn't ever buy a Mercedes-Benz. You wouldn't buy Coca-Cola. You wouldn't buy any Nike products. I mean, you can go down the list of every major corporation and you can find something wrong with basically every single one of them. You cannot judge a game or anything based on those merits. It needs to be judged on its merits and nothing else.
And I mean, like, if you are so angry because of this game, because of the minority that you suppose it's attacking because of this and that, why don't you, instead of making a fucking shit post on Twitter, you make a donation to charity? Wouldn't that be much better?
It's a lot easier to sit on your couch and post and put something on Twitter and feel good inside than actually go out there and make a difference.
No, here's the thing. They don't feel well doing this. They are just going with the flow. They just want to get some followers. They just want to get some attention. Because deep down, they don't believe in what they're saying at all. Simple as that.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is that I think the game will be unfairly biased. And where it should be a winner of Game of the Year, or at least a contender, it might not even be a contender. And that's the thing I'm worried about.
It really bothers me too. It bothers me because when these movies came out, I know not everybody jumped on the. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't jump on the Harry Potter boat until the Goblet of Fire, which I think was the third or fourth movie. I didn't jump on the boat until then because I thought
number
the
four,
first.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Number 4.
Thank you. Number 4. I thought the first couple of them. I thought the first couple of them were very childish, but then I.
Oh, you would. Okay,
Fuck off. Here's the thing. To me, it was amazing because I watched them when I was a child. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
But they had a really good thing going because they kept all the they locked in all the actors and all the actresses so that they actually aged the way they were supposed to and looked the way they were supposed to in the movies. And these movies and these books for decades have been appreciated for the art that they should be appreciated for. And now the closest thing we get in a video game form to the lore comes out and you want to ban it over some. Oh, I guess you don't. I guess you burnt your movies and your DVDs too, didn't you? You just deleted them right off your hard drive or whatnot. You'll never watch them again.
She's still going to be a billionaire. Like at the end of the day, no matter what anybody does against this woman, she is still going to be a billionaire at the end. And every time somebody speaks Harry Potter's name, she gets paid for it. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So it doesn't make any sense to deprive yourself of enjoying a good game that hardworking developers and hardworking artists and everybody that was involved in the game, it makes no sense to deprive yourself of that. And actually, There's actually a lot of if you are into that stuff, it's actually a lot of representation in the game. A lot more than probably your average video game. So like
the character creation is fantastic in this, isn't it? You can be whatever skin color you want. You can
whatever
have a male
whatever
or
you want to
female
be, man.
voice.
I mean,
It's amazing. Yep.
and then what is the one woman that you meet near the lake who's studying
Serona.
Merlin's?
Yeah. You're
She
talking about
talks
the
about
LGBT representation. Yeah.
yeah, she talks about her wife. I mean,
I
this
met her
game
wife.
is very inclusive.
Yeah, I met her wife actually. Funny enough, not only that, but they have a trans person in there as well.
Serona.
Serona, exactly.
Yeah.
But so, and I joked about it on Xbox Factor with Boom. I said, it's funny, like they have a representation of that. Serona's voice was as deeper as mine. And so, but so they have quality.
Oh, is that the one that
representation,
serves
not
you the
shying away from it.
butterbeer?
It is, yeah. That's the one that serves you that.
I thought.
That girl
See, I
sound
didn't
like
know what
James
was
Earl
going
Jones.
on. I didn't know if it was a bug with the sound or if
What her voice is strong, isn't it?
Right.
You didn't know what was going on.
It was crazy.
No, that wasn't the sound. It was just her voice. Yeah, but like the thing is, it's like they have the representation and all of those things. But so trying to blame this game for it's just misplaced anger and accountability. Like I'm not gonna. Like I said, Harry Potter is like an institution. It's so ingratiated into the culture. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to cancel that.
Children love
People have grown up on it. Yeah, people have grown up on this type of thing. It's like trying to cancel, I don't know, Arnie or something. It's something people grew up to. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Like you think you're gonna fly down to Florida and you're gonna stop her from making all the millions of dollars that she's getting off of the Harry Potter world, and
You think Disney's going to get rid of the Harry Potter world, or not Disney?
No.
Not Disney.
The
What is it?
Wizarding World.
It's Universal.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And
Wait,
these
is it-
devs
is it
probably
Warner?
don't even agree with her. They probably don't even agree with her views on things, even
Yeah,
though I'm much in peace.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Harry Potter is from Universal. It wasn't from Warner.
Yeah, but it's a Harry Potter world is part of a theme park down there in Florida.
It's part of Universal Studios. It's the other big world. They got the other one, and then they got the Harry Potter, and then they got the Islands of Adventure. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like
You're talking about
it's like a built-in.
about
It's
a
like a theme park. Yeah, it's a theme park.
I thought it was the IP.
Huh?
I thought it was the IP.
No, it's like an attraction. It's like Disney. It's like when you go down to Florida, like Disneyland and all that kind of stuff. They have like these big theme parks that are kind of like they have Epcot and they have Universal, and and they're all like have different different themes. There's a Star Wars one, but I think that one's out in Cali. I can't remember where that one's at. But
Is it its own theme park, or is it like, say, Disneyland has, I don't know, Star Wars Galaxies there, or the Pirates of the Caribbean like area, or is it?
It's like a yeah. It's like, I mean, I wouldn't say like theme park in the sense of like you're not walking in and it's like Six Flags, but like from what I've seen, I haven't been there, but like there's a Hagrid ride where you're riding in a car, or his like sidecar motorcycle, and they have like restaurants where you can like eat like authentic food from the Harry Potter universe and drink butterbeer. So let's say rides and shops. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Islands of Adventure with Marvel, where they have like the Incredible Hulk roller coaster and like this big Spider-Man ride and Captain America Cafe and stuff. So like, it's a huge thing, and it's I mean, dude, I was looking at it online to try to you take a family there. It's going to cost you $5,000, and she gets royalties on everything involved. And the funny thing is, she's actually touring right now. She's promoting a book that she's written, and you know what's funny? She hasn't mentioned Hogwarts Legacy once. Not once. She's not even concerned about it.
The thing I will point out too, Bob, about this is just what's silly and sad about it. And I'm not going to go into a whole diatribe because I don't want to disrespect the show. But believe it or not, she is actually very far left leaning, and she agrees and supports the community, the trans community, much more overall. She just happens to believe in a scientific view of, yes, there is sex and gender and such like that. Why is that such a crime that you're going to, label her something and then rally against her so hard? For
A lot
what?
of the stories that have been put out against Umbra are actually false. The narrative is being pushed so heavily that people don't actually know what her beliefs are. But you're right, she's very left-leaning on basically everything except for this one particular issue.
And this
and
one
they're
particular
trying to
issue,
crucify her because of it.
this
And to
one
me, that's silly
particular
because it's
issue,
like you agree with 99% of everything that they're talking about, but that 1%, it's like, nope.
Yep.
It's like, come on, that's not fair.
And in 2013 and in 2011, 2013, whenever, see, it was funny because, back in the day, a lot of depending on what it was politically, but, a lot of people disagreed with Harry Potter, right? Because of the whole witchcraft thing and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of leftists, kind of leaned into Harry Potter. And that's what's so crazy about the whole idea of now we're living in this world where everybody's trying to hate it, but everybody grew up with it. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to cancel something that's so ingrained in most of the world's, obviously, hearts and minds. You know what I mean? It's bigger. It's bigger than just the video game. That's why it's so big, is because, and that's why I've wanted Xbox to do this for so long. It's just to get an IP like that transcends gaming.
Agreed.
And bring it into a video game and put it in their ecosystem.
We've been saying this for a while. We talked about that with the whole superhero thing. And I think I remember that when it kept coming up. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what they should have been doing.
Yes. It's so big. It's like people, the weird thing is humans are so predictable. They attach themselves to things that they know, right? That's why people got so ingrained with Spider-Man on PlayStation. You know why? Because people love Spider-Man. Who doesn't love Spider-Man?
My favorite superhero of all time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
How come PlayStation are getting marketing deals for all of these, Power Man? For Hogwarts, for Star Wars, Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
I just don't get it. I don't
Microsoft isn't
understand
being
what
smart
Xbox
about
is
it. That's
doing.
why. That's the only reason why. Microsoft is like, we're not going to license out anything. They need to get out of that.
Yes, they do, man. Thank you. They need to do that. I've been preaching it for so long, and I want them to succeed. If I'm sitting in a boardroom somewhere and I'm looking at the success of this, I'm like, man, what's the next one on the horizon? Because I have connections, and let's get attached to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the next big one that's about to go down that we can start attaching the Xbox brand with? You know what I mean?
This is one of my strikes on Xbox, and I know a lot of people disagree when I take so much heat for it, but my stance is Game Pass has become the fucking be-all, end-all of Xbox, and it drives me fucking bonkers. It's like they forget to do anything else. Like, you look on your Xbox dashboard, it's just Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. Like they forgot to do just traditional marketing. It's just about the games going to Game Pass, or you can get Game Pass for $1. You can, you know what I mean? Like, just for me, it's almost fucking annoying to me because it feels like they just don't know how to do traditional marketing anymore. Sony's got shit on billboards, they got shit on fucking buses. Like their games are pretty much everywhere. You see Xbox doing nothing, and the misconceptions is that PlayStation has got all these exclusive games. Like I said, we know how crafty they are. They, like I said, they like to put that big word exclusive, and then underneath is a little fine print that goes, oh, it's just a DLC, or it's just a skin, or it's an exclusive mission. But the average consumer, we've said time and time again, who doesn't follow YouTube, who doesn't listen to us blokes, who doesn't follow, the trends of gaming, don't freaking know. Heck, didn't even somebody say, I heard somebody say last week, I don't know if it's true, but that Doom Cutie didn't even know that there was a certain game on Xbox or something. Maybe it was the Harry Potter or something.
Oh, that was, I think that was Colt pointing out. I think it was Colt. Yeah, Colt said that. He said on his show that his daughter had asked him about it and was like, isn't that a PlayStation game? And didn't know that it was actually on Xbox because of the marketing that Sony does, and Sony is excellent at that.
Very, very, very clever.
They're very good at it, dude.
Look, Sony's got their own PlayStation Plus and their own PlayStation Plus. What's their new level? PlayStation Plus, whatever, which is kind of sort of their premium, which is kind of their Game Pass equivalent. Not quite as good, obviously, but I just don't see it. Like, even when I'm on my PlayStation, I don't see it in my face every 5 seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
well,
like
that would go into the UI problems that we could discuss.
Right? So, but like, that's just the difference. I mean, like I said, you can come at me and give me the heat all you want, but you got to understand why sometimes I get a little bit annoyed with the way Xbox approaches things. It's like they're They're missing the
Yeah,
boat
there's a
on
few things that
so
drive me
many
nuts.
aspects, and this is not me grinding Game Pass. We get it, and you guys get it, and most of you are subscribed, if not everybody. I'm probably the only idiot on the panel that doesn't have a Game Pass subscription, but that's for 101 reasons. But you see, the point is just like, guys, stop putting all your eggs in this one basket and counting on it to be your be-all, end-all Jesus. Like, go back to doing some of the aggressive marketing you used to do. You can do a little bit. You're a big enough company. You have money to spread around. You don't have to just be always, this game is in Game Pass. This game's in Game Pass. Like, just put some fucking shit in there. Like, even if you got to support a third-party game, maybe that's not even going to Game Pass. Just like, it's on the Xbox platform. Do you know what I mean?
I think
Well,
the
I mean,
Noof is
they
we
do
heard that
that.
they've actually reduced their marketing budget even more, so we're going to get even less going into the future, and
Right.
I don't get it.
Right now, yeah.
So I just started
I was
up.
going to say I think a little of that kind of leached into the community too, because a lot of times you talk about advertising, like for instance with the whole Starfield thing, and that's why a lot of people are so disillusioned and they're thinking, oh, it's March. It's like, no, they haven't done any advertisement. They're not going to just. It's in Game Pass, so. And I've heard people literally say that it's in Game Pass, so they don't have to advertise because Game Pass.
If Xbox
yes,
did
they do.
that
We
would
need
be
to
the
be
biggest mistake they
advertising.
made in years. If
It
they
would be a
they don't market this game, it will be the biggest mistake Xbox has made in years. Huge missed opportunity.
So I do want to.
I completely agree.
I wanted to say something. So I thought about because of what Noof just said, I decided to turn my TV on and start my Series X up to see exactly what the home screen tells me, or what it's going to show me. And I started it up, and I noticed that automatically the very next tab down from where you start out on the home screen is the Game Pass tab, and they keep that almost completely off the screen. So that if you don't want to go down there, you don't really have to. And as far as what's on there besides my games and apps and the last 6 games that I've played and what's in my disk drive right now, it says save up to 80% on select publishers like Activision, explore Game Pass, and then there's a Call of Duty Season 2 Battle Pass Warzone 2.0 buy now.
Yeah, looking at mine, I've got the Game Pass EA Play advertisement talking about 40-hour trials, Modern Warfare 2, and my last achievement. So, but there's still that push of Game Pass. But I also,
Man, I'm thinking about something completely differently when I'm talking about marketing. People have got it. I don't want any more ads on my Xbox home screen, and you can put that Game Pass on wherever you want it, Bob. Like you can maneuver it wherever you want it. I think I have the store.
To be honest, for me, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, my point was that if you've already got an Xbox, then that's great. Then I don't want ads on my actual Xbox. Where I want ads is on TV or is on YouTube. Every time I open up YouTube, and I watch so much gaming stuff that my algorithm points to gaming ads for me. Every time I see a gaming ad, it's about a Sony game, even if it's not a first-party game. Every ad I've seen for Hogwarts has been brought to you by Sony. People then who are casuals, who don't listen to podcasts like us, will then associate Hogwarts Legacy with PlayStation and might even think that that's the only way they can get the game. This is a big problem for me.
I mean, so I completely agree with you, Jedi, because I was just looking at my dashboard and then thinking back to how many Xbox ads I've seen anywhere for over the last several months. Xbox did this back when, it was just shortly before the One X came out with the Scorpio edition. They really embraced the digital age, and unfortunately, when they embraced the digital age, their advertising kind of went totally digital also, because it doesn't really grow your brand. I mean, we all, every time we turn on our Xbox consoles, we're kept up to date because it's thrown right there in our face. We know what's coming to Game Pass, or hey, here, check this out. This is new. Or, hey, this is going to be released in a week on Game Pass. Preload it right now. We're kept up to date on what's going to come out and the deals and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. But people who don't have an Xbox, you're not going anywhere outside of your already committed audience to grow the brand. And
I get that. I think what Noof was saying is the Xbox has really just abandoned like traditional marketing in the sense of like if you go back like the last few years, even since 2017, I can't think of one marketing piece or commercial or something that didn't also involve Game Pass. See, this is where Sony is different. This is where I'll give them credit. Whenever you see a God of War Ragnarok ad, it's not immediately attached to the PS Plus label, right? It doesn't automatically just say, oh, well, it will be, or, coming soon to PS Plus. It says none of that. The game sells itself for its own laurels, right? The game is the game. You buy it or whatever, right? It sells itself in a sense, right? Whether it's good or bad, whether it's going to be a shit game or the greatest game you've ever played. Xbox, and this is what we have a couple of games coming up, for instance, right? We have Forza Motorsport. I think we all would agree that game is going to have enough polish and enough pristine on it to be sold based on its laurels, correct? Yes. It will be good enough to be able. Yeah, that game would deserve proper marketing, correct?
Mm-hmm. Proper marketing.
Do we think Xbox is going to market that game other than saying it's going into Game Pass?
That's right.
I to be honest, for me, the Game Pass does not bother me personally. Game Pass is one of the greatest values. And there goes Peter again.
But we know that. We knew that. We knew that 3 years ago.
But do other people know that? I talk to people sometimes at casuals didn't even know what Game Pass was. So I think that there needs.
But there's a lot of people who just want to buy a racing game, and I think that the marketing can branch out to just saying, rather than just trying to like.
Well, I don't think we need Game Pass bolstered in the front. But I think all they really need to do is keep advertising casually. Game is also available day one on Game Pass, like at the end. Like, that probably would make more sense. We don't need to plaster it in the front, but we don't really do that.
That's where everybody's getting this narrative talking about Game Pass is taking away from sales, and it probably is in a sense of like
built in to do that. I don't know why that would be an argument.
I get that, but here's my thing: is like Xbox. How is Xbox ever going to have a big grandioso game if it's always going to be just dropping right into Game Pass?
Because the $50 that people put every month is going to cover all of that, and we've already talked about how it does.
So when Starfield comes out, right, and Starfield comes out, what's the metric for its success?
Metric for success is how many people that play it on Game Pass and the other people that buy it. I like how you make this point, but then you don't take in the fact that didn't Hi-Fi have a lot of a lot of just individual sales? Wasn't it a bestseller like at 7 or something?
Okay. Before this conversation goes any farther, I feel like I need to step in here and go.
Okay.
Fight.
I'm just saying that if everybody plays Starfield tomorrow, if it came out tomorrow and everybody that is in Game Pass played it, that would be the only metric for success for Starfield. Versus
there's multiple metrics.
If the game came out and sold 15 million copies individually, would be a totally different metric for success.
I think they'd have to look at active users and the general sales, because they do calculate that data, and that's also how they give money to the third-party developers that put their games on that platform. And even
Starfield's first party.
But I'm just saying that was an example of that. Starfield first party really doesn't matter. After that, that's first party done, and all they got to do is advertise it right. But there will be people that will buy it.
Who plays it?
I mean, for me, that's what would go off users. But I think that the metrics of success would be it's just different. It all depends on.
So how would you know? How would you know if Starfield's successful or not?
That's the thing. I'm not an Xbox. I can't tell you how many people are playing it. I can't tell you how many people actually purchased it. I can't tell you this or that. So I think success would be that a lot of people are playing it. That it's everyone's talking about it. And that people are enjoying it, and that it's something that's in the public eye. I think that would be probably
That's
success.
not
I
a
think
measure of
I think the
success.
real measure is always
Well,
money.
what would be the measure of success for a Game
Well,
Pass
you
game?
need to.
Then give me
It's
an
a
answer.
business.
I'll give you an
It's
answer
a
to this. It's
business. You
money.
need to
So
make
what
money.
it have to be the measure of
Always
success
money, bro.
is money always.
Okay, so
the measure
okay,
of success would have to be the subscriptions. Not only that they
okay.
bring into more subscriptions, at least around that time. I think they can say, yeah, more people picked up Game Pass with Starfield coming into it. They could probably point to that being a measure of success for it.
Well, that's kind of
Obviously,
goes
as
back
you
to the
pointed out,
users again.
but that's my
So,
point. So you're going to have to go. Users going to have to be a part of it, but you're going to subscriptions. Adding new subscriptions is money. Just people playing it that's already in part of it is
well, that's a
not some new
correlation, and
measure.
people don't. It depends on it depends on not everybody bought Game Pass just for Starfield, but they keep having it because of games that come up for Starfield. So I mean,
That's why
new
I
active
said
users
around
could
the
be a
time.
success, but
It's
the
going to
money
be
part,
new active
the money,
users is going to be a measure of it. It has to be
yeah,
because how else would they
Yeah.
gauge it? And they're going to
It's
have
the
to
only
gauge
way.
it also
It's the
by the
only
people
way.
who play it. So yeah, the people who play it, the people they pick up during that time, which I'm pretty sure is going to be large enough, but they're going to have to advertise this game, and it can't just be oh well, Game
no,
Pass. Look at Game
I
Pass.
completely agree. Well,
That's the
I think,
thing.
but Game Pass is just kind of, and some people think of it as a crutch. Game Pass is probably the most accessible thing, and it's very good for advertising. It's very good to advertise to parents. For me, it's great value for me, but I mean, just looking at it that way, you're gonna make money off the already active users, and then, I mean, how many people you think would come in new for a game like this? I mean, we have a lot of Bethesda fans. It's just there's just a lot of variables, and that's why even I'm getting a little confused here. There's a lot of things to look at. Is what my
Well, here's the reason why I bring this up.
Microsoft do look at monthly active users, and there's a reason why they do that. They know if they keep people engaged and keep people subscribed, then they tend to spend a lot more money. I think the metric that they came out with 6 months ago was 70%. So if they get people attached to the brand, they will spend more money on microtransactions and DLC and all that kind of stuff. So I 100% agree where you're coming from when it comes to that. I think it's a very difficult question. You bring up a good point. How do we measure success in this day and age? This is all brand new. Yeah, I mean, the Netflix of gaming thing is a very, very new thing. And we're not only going to see monthly active users from the Xbox, but we're also going to see it from Samsung TVs, people just playing on their phone. So it's very different.
It's not just it's not just looking at how many box sales. I see there's just too many variables, and then see that even I'm even confusing myself on would this counteract? Would this actually make sense? There's just a lot more to it. I think the value of Game Pass, I am not against them advertising that. I don't think it's a bad idea. My personal opinion.
If Starfield came out, okay, I'll give you guys a scenario. Starfield comes out, we all know it's going to drop on PC too, right?
Roger.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the game sold 10 million copies on Steam, but also did pretty good in Game Pass with monthly active users or whatever. I'm curious, what do you guys think Xbox is going to tout when it comes to the success of that game?
The sales.
Active users.
The Steam sales.
No, dude. Active users is for me. They did that for Halo Infinite. That's why I'm going after users. Because you realize they really talked about game sales for Halo Infinite. They talked about users. Talked about the users.
So this is a topic that
I think they're forced to talk about users because they can't talk about sales. That's the unfortunate part. So I think if they have the sales,
again, that brings back the Game Pass question again. I feel like this is a little cursed.
This is a topic that I kind of put to the wayside. I didn't really want to focus that much on it, but since it's come up, you're right. There are people complaining that Game Pass is butchering game sales metrics. But what people don't understand is Microsoft is paying the developers handsomely for these games, and it's up to the developers to release that. The only thing that Game Pass does is affect the total number of sales, not value, not money of sales. The total number of sales. So if you're looking for we sold 10 million copies of this game metric, if it's in Game Pass, you're not going to get that. We could probably tell you how many users, I'm sure Microsoft could tell you how many users have played that game for let's say an hour, we'll count that as one sale if you've played that game for an hour.
So that's my thing. There's just no metric.
No. Yeah. So, like, it is hard to tell with metrics, right? Because you look at the Fortnite conundrum, right? Like, geez, this game, like, you can get the game for free. You can play it for free and the free to play. You don't even have to pay for a subscription. But my God, I was in there like 10 minutes and I looked at the price of the skins in that game and I went, holy hell. Now I know why this game is making bank, right? They just bait you in, and then, of course, they just nail people. Like, most of my friends playing Fortnite have got, I'd say, at least a dozen skins. So I'm adding that up, right? And that's like they've more than paid for a full price of a game just on cosmetic shit alone, which is insane. And this is millions of people doing that. So, like you guys said, it's not about like selling 10 million copies, because if you got 10 million people playing and they're saving that money up front, we get it. That's where the bank is, and and this is why that ABK deal is important. We know that. Look, deep down inside, Sony doesn't want to give up Sony, Sony doesn't want to give up like the Activision, the whole Call of Duty thing, largely because they know it isn't about the game being like amazing. Like, Call of Duties aren't like winning Game of the Year awards, and they're not really like touted. Like, nobody really gives a shit for the game, but you know what they give a shit about? The marketing, because it's the name brand associated with it. Microsoft is smart enough to know that too. They know that they get that marketing, and they can put that big Call of Duty brand right next to the big Game Pass brand. That's huge. And they start getting that into the stores, and they get the big banners into the stores and all that stuff that says Call of Duty. Yes, they're not going to have an exclusive, but people are going to figure out pretty quickly that, hey, I can play all the Call of Duties for this amount of money, but I got to pay 80 or 90 bucks to play it on the competing product, which again is still a win for Sony, because you're not taking anything away from them. You're just giving your Game Pass. You're just giving your Xbox users like a shit ton more value, and that's why I don't understand why there's such a big fight, because they're giving gamers value, and if you want to be that stubborn that you don't want to go and buy into the Xbox ecosystem because you don't either want to drop down some money for a console or you don't want to play it on your PC, it's not like you've only got one option. Like, you're getting tons of options. This is why, like I said, to me it's so asinine, because it's almost a win-win scenario, but I do get it. It's definitely to help the bottom line of Microsoft. It's definitely that, it's that pedigree into Game Pass, and that itself will help fund more games and help levy the bottom line for the games that fall through the cracks. And then you just had that developer too. Was it the Descenders developer who just, I don't know if you guys saw that, but he basically came up and said, right? Yeah. He said, like, he wants to get all of his games into Game Pass because his games are now all almost guaranteed successful. And it takes the pressure off the developers that they don't have to sit there and look at a number chart and go, oh my God, we can make the best game in the world. But if it doesn't have, like, 5 million copies out the gate, we're like screwed. No, it allows them a lot of leverage and leeway, and it certainly allows them freedom to go and make games they actually want to make, and not constantly be like, you guys got to have this game, and this game's got to have all this crap in it, because otherwise this game is going nowhere. They can say, you know what? We don't need a fortune of microtransactions. Exactly. So, like I said, there's a lot of bonuses
They get paid anywhere they want, Noof, as well. Like, they don't have to get paid by the amount of people that play the game. They can get paid up front.
Exactly.
Game Pass. They can get paid on monthly active users. They can get paid for time that actually gets spent in the game. So they're free to choose whatever deal they want, and every game will do it differently. So I can't see how that article was written. It was, and the heading of that article was it's clickbait nonsense, if you ask me.
It's built in.
But I wanted to say before in the marketing thing, when was the last time we saw an ad from Xbox that had Ben Stiller, LeBron James, and John Travolta, like God of War had? I mean, 3 big names that aren't in the gaming industry talking about a video game. I don't remember seeing anything like that from Xbox for a very long time.
Why don't we have The Rock out there advertising Xbox doing something stupid? I mean, just do it.
Because I don't think that they're.
I can't disagree.
The Rock says you should know your role and shut. Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to point out, by the way, I got you jabroni. Check your right directly into. No, anyway. So I was going to say I got to get going. Unfortunately, guys. Bob, why did you take off the blue blockers? I saw you hit the blue blockers on. Yeah, there you go. Put them back on for us. There you go.
Rock says that only
Yeah,
dumbasses
yeah,
don't play on Game Pass. So
That
get
sound more.
in.
That sound more like Stone Cold right there.
The last time we
actually,
had some definitive advertising. Oh, and Umbra, good to have you on, brother. Always good to see you. Always have great
Thank you.
talks with you.
Thank you, brother.
actually, I was about to say the same thing. I gotta go right now as well.
He's copying me.
Bro is.
Especially you guys for your
Yeah.
outros.
All right.
My
Oh,
milk
but-
bottle is empty and my diaper is full. I've got to go.
Thank you so much, brother. So sorry for being so quiet. It's just because you guys just talked about fucking Hogwarts Legacy, and I didn't want to stop you. But I'm sorry, I didn't play the game, so I had to be quiet. I don't know. Somewhere in the future, I hope so.
Gotta
But
make
yeah,
that big chemistry money, brother.
yeah. But yeah, I might just cook some drugs. I don't know. But yeah, you can find me on
You're not.
Twitter
It's not
as
Breaking Bad.
FBO
This is not
Marine
Breaking Bad.
97. Of course it is. FBO Marine 97 on Twitter. You can find me as well on Xbox as Buffon Lizard 8. And you can find me here on the Game Set Live podcast on Thursdays and working on something crazy on the XBL Party podcast channel.
Happy birthday tomorrow, Fabio.
Love you all, boys. See you guys later. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the show.
Later.
Later, mate.
You can always find me in the gutter when I'm not hanging out with you, a bunch of nitwits. Yes, you can find me over on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Mountain Time on Good Morning Xbox. Look forward to seeing you there over on my YouTube channel and hopefully getting back to more streaming on Tuesday nights as well on my YouTube channel. That's about it for me. You can find me Noof Nukem pretty much everywhere. And yeah, we're gonna get some more game nights going here soon, guys. So let's do it up and all that stuff. And yeah, see you soon. Good show, everybody. Take care. We'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, get to YouTube. Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, and on this channel. If you're not liking and subscribing it, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to get you just like I did with Sarah Connor. So make sure that you're doing it now. Come on, get out there. Stop procrastinating. Stop masturbating and get in there and become emancipating. Hit the like button. Do it. This channel's 132 subscribers. It should have 1,000 easy. I could do that with my farts. Just do it. Come on, share it out there. Timber, get out there and do it. Come on, Bushido. Let's push it out there. Let's push it out. Let's go. Do it. Golly, do you like or subscribe to KY Bob? Do it now. You're on guys. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Xbox, I'm on UTC. Thanks for that, man. For show.
Ultimus. James Ultimus. James Ultimus.
I know you're
lying
lying,
now, you
guys.
can't read.
There's like 3 people that can't hear us now.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same problem as well. It's showing that I'm talking, not seeing an issue. That's weird. Yeah. Yeah, I'm checking the stream. There's some weird audio issues going on. Thank you, YouTube. But I was going straight into it. just going straight into it quickly because with everything going on, we don't know if people can hear us. We don't know if there's problems, and yeah, and Fabio ruined it. Right now I'm gonna have Bobby change it. You can no longer now find me at Ultimus Gaming. I did, however, placeholder that is mine. You can find me on Twitter at James Ultimus. That's kind of my new nickname I'm trying out. I like it. If you don't like it, tell me. I'll take criticism. And you can find me there just doing what I always do, just tweeting and being positive and talk about games and talking about Bobby's beard, and that's about it. I know. Now we got to talk about your goatee. I got to adjust.
Saying you're the goats of goatees. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
JediKnightPeter at Twitter. JediKnightPeter on Xbox. Xbox Infinite, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Check it out. Thanks for having me, Bob. Thanks for having me, everyone.
I don't think whispering is going to save anything.
I think whispering works though.
Well, of course, you can find me along with my brother Peter here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern on Xbox Infinite podcast, named after yours truly. They won't admit it, but it's they'll deny it.
Came up with that name.
Yeah, after you met me, he came up with that name. He was like, "Yeah, Infinite, that's
Halo
it."
Infinite,
sure.
Just saying.
Sure. Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
he
you
wants to
stole
tell
from
you.
Halo Infinite, then they stole from you. It all works out.
Yeah, they just listen. We knew what it was. I'm not even going to go into that. It's just politics. They don't want to admit it. Anyway, so yeah, you guys can find me on there tomorrow. I got my buddy Miles Pierre. I got him to join us tomorrow night. So you all tune in and yeah, Miles is super. You should. Miles is a good dude. Yeah. So everybody in the chat, expect to see you all there. If you're not, I'm going to harass you afterwards. And I will make a character that resembles yours in Hogwarts and have them killed. So yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take them right into the spider's den and let them get bit to death. So yeah, big ones, absolutely, the gigantic one. So yeah, and of course, outside of the Xbox Infinite podcast, you all can find me on Tuesdays at 12 Eastern on the Xbox Factor podcast with Boom and Cast. So, and I got my own. I'm working
coming,
on.
Brother. When's the fix
Absolutely.
coming?
I got the fix coming up of my own side project. But the thing is, I am waiting for Sean LeBrie or this other gentleman to actually respond. They're so busy, I can't get anything done just yet. And once I get that nailed, I have a few other little small things to do. But other than that, then I'll try to have it started up. It probably, unfortunately, won't be until next month now because I just haven't had the chance of getting in contact with them through multiple channels I've tried. So, but yeah.
Honestly, I can't wait, bro.
Definitely happy. Thank you. But yeah, thank you all for having me too. And come through and support us tomorrow, everybody. Nice. Yeah, me and Pete had to point it out. Like, wow, you didn't make Bob that yet. It is. Let me stop. Nah, Risky did it on his own. But
He'll
yeah.
never make me a moderator because I like God of War Ragnarok soundtrack. So.
Well, it's the same. It sounds like the same soundtrack from 2018. To be honest. What's up, Karen?
Yeah, he'll never let me forget it ever.
She heard the reverberations of my voice. That's what brought her here.
You know I'm famous for that on Spaces? I'm about to tell you. I'm famous for coming in at the end.
Yeah, that's your specialty. I agree with you. By the way, why are you switching it to James
Nobody
Ultimate?
can hear you, Bob. Unfortunately, bro. Like since Ultimate left, mate, no one can hear you.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
You mean since Fabio left? Since Fabio left,
Uh,
I've been
anyway,
People not
no.
hearing me.
Anyway, I wanted to try something new for the name. No one's giving me criticism yet, so that's all I gotta
Can
say
you hear
about
me
that.
now?
We can talk.
We can hear you just fine, Bob. I'm not sure about the chat though.
Oh.
No, there's something weird going on. We'll have to investigate.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah.
Technology, you gotta love it. But yeah, I changed my name. I wanted to try something new. Umbra, just trying something new.
So what was it, Ultimate? So what did you change it to, bro?
So it was Ultimus Gaming, like it is here on the podcast. I haven't changed it because I'm still in that. Should I keep it? Should I just go back? It's why I placeholdered my name, my old name. I have that placeholder that I have. I'm not letting anybody else have that in case I still want it. Not like anybody would take it. But I switch over to James Ultimus. Kind of just wanted to have that be my kind of thing right now. Might change it back. Might keep it. I don't know, just trying something new. I've had the name Ultimus Gaming for a long time, so just
So
something
James
new.
Ultimus. Nice, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
All
something
right.
new.
And this is your host, KY Bob, thanking everybody for showing up and thanking our special guest from Xbox Infinite. You can catch them tomorrow at, you all don't have daylight 7 times, so it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time?
7 o'clock Eastern,
7?
yep.
Yes, you can catch JediKnightPeter and Infinite Umbra on the Xbox Infinite podcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is KY Bob. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, everybody who showed up for the show. Yes, YouTube is screwing us right now, and for some reason, the show breaks. They don't get put together until the next morning. I don't know what's going on, but if you missed any of the show, you can catch the full 2+ hour replay, which I don't know how we did 2+ hours when we had as little topics as we had. Maybe it's because I had 7 members on the panel tonight. Maybe that's how I got 2+ hours out of the show. But
this is
Bushido
a message from YouTube. You've been demonetized.
Yeah.
Bushido jumped in. I think that's what broke it. Bushido jumped in.
Damn it, Bushido.
I didn't
What
want
are
to
you
be the
thinking,
one.
brah?
It could have been it.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, but yeah,
All right, gentlemen.
But thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and have a safe weekend. Game on, and thank you for watching Game Set Live, where the games matter and not the platforms you enjoy them on. Good night, everybody.